Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for April 24th, 2020 as the road to Money in the Bank continues. Shout out to everybody in the chat room for watching and interacting. I appreciate that. And thank you to everybody watching this on demand as well. Let's go ahead and get started with this recap. We kicked off the show with the brand new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the New Day 8-time champions. Kofi Kingston gave props to Big E Langston. Big E said it feels good to have their girls back around their waists. Kofi brought up some of the great teams that they get to have their names alongside with. They mentioned Demolition, Heart Foundation, and so on. Noah Foster with a $5 super chat, the Simple Man, thank you for that, says, thank you, Triple H. Have a great chat, people. Keep up the great work, Aaron. I appreciate it very much, Noah Foster. Let's have a great chat here. Let's continue with this recap. We had the Lucha House Party. That's right. Lucha House Party, Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado coming out. I believe it was those two. We had them cut a promo talking about how they are sick of other teams getting opportunities. They want to be the first team to challenge the new champs. But then we had Miz and Morrison come out. They were very upset. They walked right past Lucha House Party. They talked about how their title defenses were travesties of justice. They never got to defend the titles in a traditional match. First it was the Elimination Chamber, then it was a triple threat ladder match, then it was another triple threat singles match. They want their titles back. Lucha House Party got into the ring. Gran Metalik started cutting some promo in Spanish on The Miz. Morrison translated it as a compliment, but then it was revealed that it was not, in fact, a compliment. We had the Sons of Anarchy, or excuse me, the Forgotten Sons coming to the ring, and they want a title shot. Miz was like, who the hell are these guys? The Sons talked about how they have served their country, but they've been treated like trash, and they're not going to tolerate that. They're going to reign over the SmackDown Tag Team division, and they will be forgotten no more. Gunner referred to Miz as a poser, or excuse me, Jason Riker, whatever his name is. I'm going to call him Gunner because that's what I remember him being from TNA Impact Wrestling. Gunner talked about how Miz pretends to be a Marine. He was in the movie The Marine, at least the sequels, not the original, but he is a real Marine. A big brawl broke out. Of course, all the teams fought. Miz and Morrison fled the scene, and then New Day ended up being laid out by Aces and Eights. Excuse me. The Forgotten Sons. And that was our opening segment of the evening. We had Miz and Morrison backstage talking about how they are going to make everything right by defeating the Lucha House Party in a match later on SmackDown. Throughout the night, this was the special edition of SmackDown to celebrate 25 years since Triple H's debut back in 1995. Back when 311 was getting down with the Hive. We had footage shown of Triple H as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Blue Blood, back in the day, all that stuff. And then later on, we saw footage of DX, of course, the WCW invasion, when they brought the tank to the Norfolk Scope, and other clips from various parts of Triple H's career, Wrestlemania highlights and so forth. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, should WWE have more heel versus heel matches and feuds? Thank you for that. I feel like traditionally it's better to do heel versus face, but right now with no crowds, I guess you could experiment and do some different things. I think it's okay every now and then to do heel versus heel or face versus face, but I think for the most part it's better to go the traditional route. That's just my take on it. We had a Money in the Bank qualifying match. We had Drew Gulak along with Daniel Bryan versus King Corbin. We had a recap of when Corbin attacked Elias on last week's show. And Michael Cole announced that Elias cannot sing. He cannot play the guitar because of what Corbin did, that son of a bitch. Daniel Bryan was at ringside. He was coaching Drew Gulak, but then Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro attacked Bryan at ringside. Gulak got distracted. He got slammed into the ring post. So clearly Bryan did not do enough coaching, because rule number 1, coaching 101, you tell the guy to not get distracted. If people are out there, you just focus on your opponent. So you done goofed Daniel Bryan. You should have told Drew Gulak to not get distracted by the heels. It's cheap tactic 101. Ignore them. If they interfere, you win the match. If they attack you, you win. So why get distracted? Let them jump you from behind. You win the match. You go to Money in the Bank. So Daniel Bryan, you, my friend, failed Drew Gulak. They should totally use this as a way to turn Gulak back heel. Say, Bryan, you should have told me to not get distracted by those guys. You screwed up, Bryan. You're a bad coach. Anyways, Gulak got slammed into the post by Corbin. End of days. 1, 2, 3. King Corbin advances. And after the match, he gave Gulak an additional beatdown because why not? He's King Corbin. He's a bastard. TJS, Jeff Meacham's best friend, is here in the chat room with a $2 super chat. Says, do you think Vince McMahon is pissed off at Gronk? He might be. Knowing Vince, I don't know Vince, but vicariously knowing Vince through all the other people that complain about Vince, I could see him being mad at Gronk, even though Vince is like, don't hold grudges against people. There's always a chance to do business. And yeah, maybe Gronk will come back at one point. Honestly, I don't care about Gronk, so I'm celebrating Gronk going back to the NFL. And like I said on the No DQ review, which you guys should check out on demand on the No DQ YouTube channel, I, for one, say good riddance and take the damn 24/7 title with you. Don't let the door hit you on the ass, Gronk. I'm sure the guy's a nice guy and all, but I don't know. He did nothing for me. And TJS with another $2 super chat. Thank you, TJS. He says, I love you, but it's Gulak. His fin is Gulak. Drew Gulak. That's how I'm going to pronounce it, whether you like it or not. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, TJS cried in the bathroom when EC3 was released. He probably did. Would not shock me. I cried a little bit too. I was sad for EC3. But I got to say, the dude is shredded. And that makes me cry, that I can never look like EC3 with those muscles. He's got muscles in places that most people don't have places. That dude is physically stacked, genetically jacked. He is the modern day Scott Steiner. Like, that guy has 3% body fat, 4% body fat. I'm not even sure, but it's very low. It's an extremely low number, stronger than most. Stronger than the 99%. There you go. We had Sheamus defeating an enhancement talent. I forgot his name. Beat him with a bro kick. Wasn't like AEW where Kenny Omega gave that young enhancement talent a great fight and even let that guy kick out of the V-trigger. Nope. Sheamus just dominated this guy. Beat him very quickly. TGS is like, I have 3% muscle. Yeah, well, I think a lot of us have the bottom end percentage of muscle. EC3 is one of those rare pieces of work. Not even sure what else to say about him. He's like a Greek god. He is built like a Greek god. And how about that video? He has some interesting taste in music, jamming to Judas by Fozzy when he's working out. Total coincidence. We had part 3 of Jeff Hardy's redemption story, the Jeff Hardy redemption. They showed footage of his return at WrestleMania 33. And next week we get part 4, which is the comeback. We also had the segment with Sheamus and Michael Cole. This was actually at the start of the tag team match. Apparently, Sheamus was just standing out there at ringside for a while this Jeff Hardy video package was airing. Sheamus ripped, or I shouldn't say ripped, he just pulled off Michael Cole's headset. He has a problem with Michael Cole, I guess, praising Jeff Hardy. Same issue as last week. We had Miz and Morrison, hey, hey, ho, ho, versus the Lucha House Party. And surprisingly enough, although maybe not, considering what happened a few weeks ago, Grand Metalik pinned The Miz. Yes, The Miz did the J-O-B to Grand Metalik. What did The Miz do to deserve this? 2 weeks in a row getting beat. Last week, at least, he got beat by Big E Langston. This week, he got beat by Grand Metalik. Again, probably just a coincidence, right? Miz gets sick, Roman Reigns walks out, doesn't do WrestleMania. Total coincidence. Miz is totally not getting buried by WWE. We had Sasha Banks versus Lacey Evans. So traditional as Lacey. Sasha Banks came to the ring with a picture of Lacey's daughter that she used as a cooling fan. Sasha was trying to be smart in this match. She worked over the hand of Lacey so Lacey could not give her the women's right. But guess what? Lacey is not your average lady. She's a class above your average lady. And she came back and hit the women's right. Bayley, however, was there at ringside and she put the foot of Sasha on the rope like a good bestie would do. Then Lacey grabbed Bayley. Sasha took advantage of this and rolled up Lacey. However, the referee was still distracted by Bayley. Referee finally turned around, but by that time, Lacey was able to kick out. Sasha was upset about this. She yelled at her bestie, Bayley, and that's when Evans nailed Sasha with the women's right, scored the 1-2-3 victory to advance to Money in the Bank. And then as Bayley and Sasha went up the ramp, Tamina Snuka came in with a super kick out of nowhere to lay out Bayley, setting up their championship match at Money in the Bank. The highly anticipated Bayley versus Tamina Snuka, the match we've all been waiting for. It's right up there with Hogan versus Rock and Steve Austin versus Triple H. This is the classic we've all been waiting for. Bayley versus Tamina. Money in the Bank, May 10th on the WWE Network for just $9.99 or free for new subscribers. We had a history of Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt video package. Of course, Braun Strowman came in as the black sheep of the Wyatt family. Then we had a backstage segment with Carmella and Dana Brooke chatting. Carmella said she was inspired by Dana Brooke and she vowed to focus on their tag team title match. We had the match and guess what? Carmella took the pin. So much for being inspired by Dana Brooke. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss won with a 3D-like maneuver. It was basically like the 3D, but instead of Bubba Ray hitting a cutter, we had Alexa Bliss hitting the DDT, and they scored the 1-2-3 victory to retain the women's tag team titles. And this may be one more title defense than what Asuka and Kairi Sane had in 3 months. I know they had that TLC title defense, but I'm trying to think of other ones besides that. There weren't very many. Same thing with the Iconics. They maybe had 1 or 2 title defenses in their entire reign as champions. So at the pace they're going, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss might be the most, what's the term I'm looking for? The fightingest champions of all time. And I know that's not a very good word to use, but I can't think of anything else. So they're fighting champions, and they're doing a damn good job at it so far. We'll see if they can keep the pace. And then we had our main event segment, Triple H coming out to celebrate 25 years. But before he could really get anything in word-wise, Shawn Michaels hit the ring. Shawn Michaels said he has 2 words for Triple H, and Triple H was giving him a hug. They were going to do like the suck it gesture together, but then Triple H was like, no, the 2 words are social distancing. And Shawn warned Triple H to keep his hands to himself. Shawn Michaels started roasting Triple H, talking about how he sent out all these invitations to people for this celebration, and they all attended. Of course, the arena was empty. That's the joke. However, Michael Cole and Corey Graves were there at least, but then Shawn pointed out that, well, they have to be there because they're doing their job. Then Shawn also noted that Triple H is still packing in the crowds, so another empty arena joke. Triple H then, well, before Triple H could continue, Shawn brought up his own 25-year anniversary and asked Triple H to name his favorite moment of Shawn Michaels' 25th anniversary celebration. Of course, Shawn Michaels never got one, but Triple H, he's the game. He's the guy that's in line to take over the company, so of course he gets a 25-year anniversary. Triple H said Shawn was supposed to have one, and when Triple H gets back to the dressing room, heads are going to roll backstage. Triple H, or should I say Shawn Michaels, I keep screwing up here. Shawn Michaels showed a video package, which was basically a DX blooper reel. And then Shawn showed another video package, which was basically a recap of all of Triple H's losses at WrestleMania, starting with the loss to the Ultimate Warrior in 1996. Shawn then brought up Stephanie No Fun. Stephanie ended up FaceTiming Triple H. She was not amused. She was watching the show live, and she was not happy about Shawn making fun of her. She called awfully quickly, like pretty much 5 seconds after Shawn name-dropped Stephanie. She's calling Triple H on live TV. And she said, tell that no good lazy-eyed, but then Triple H hung up on her. Ric Flair then FaceTimed and said a few kind words, started crying, as only Ric Flair can do. Another person called in, but we never found out who this person was because we went to a commercial break. When we returned, we had Road Doggy Dog, talking about how he needs to shave his beard. He wasn't expecting to be on live TV. I guess he just FaceTimed randomly, I suppose. Triple H, being a dick, hung up on Road Dogg. And then all of a sudden, no chance in hell, Vince McMahon, the boss, showed up on SmackDown to talk about Triple H. Well, I don't know what the hell Vince was talking about. This was such an awkward, weird promo from Vince. I guess he was roasting Triple H. He brought up the gobbledygooker. He brought up Katie Vick, which was a Triple H segment. And then he brought up Bayley's This Is Your Life, but then added that that wasn't Bayley's fault. Then Vince got serious and said he loves Triple H. He loves both guys, as a matter of fact. Then he became an ass. He said that this segment is actually god-awful. And he said, let's just wrap this up. This is done. He strutted off. The lights went down. And then there were crickets. Triple H was like, do you hear crickets? And Shawn was like, story of your career. Ouch. And that, my friends, was the end of SmackDown. I think we need a translator, a Vince McMahon, senile Vince McMahon translator, because it was really tough for me to write down and recap what Vince was saying. It was so bizarre. Like, the dude is totally senile now. It's sad, you know, seriously, it's sad to see Vince like that. He's out there trying to contribute to the show, but man, he is really looking and showing his age now. Overall, I thought SmackDown was a good show. I'm curious to see what happens next week, because I believe WWE was hyping this up as the first part of Triple H's 25-year celebration. And this was a long segment. I mean, this was clearly designed to try and pop a rating for SmackDown and pop a big number. We'll see if they get one, if it goes up this week. But yeah, this last segment with Triple H, like, it started at 9:35 Eastern time. So we still had a good 25 minutes to go. And I'm like, wow, they're doing this early, but they ended up stretching it out very long. It felt kind of like they were trying to do something similar to the This Is Your Life segment with The Rock and Mankind from 1999, which was one of the highest rated segments in the history of WWE television. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. And overall, I thought SmackDown was a good show. Psycho Jet Black says, did you hear about the Velveteen Dreams audio? Well, yes, I did. I actually posted it earlier on NoDQ.com. I did not post anything right away, though, because I was waiting for somebody to address it at an official capacity, whether it's WWE or Velveteen Dream or the police. So basically, there are people on social media accusing Velveteen Dream of going on Instagram and sending nude pictures to minors. This is obviously a very serious accusation to make, and some people thought maybe he got hacked. We saw a bunch of screenshots. Velveteen Dream went on Twitter and denied everything, said that he never engaged in any inappropriate behavior with anybody, and said that somebody accessed his private photos and published them without his consent. So apparently photos of Velveteen Dream circulating around are legitimate, because he said somebody took his private photo. I have not seen it yet, so I have no comment. I hope the accusations are not true. I'm not going to say anything else about it at this time. We'll see how things play out with this. Obviously, I hope they're not true. I mean, that would be a real shame if his career is ruined over something like this. And if the accusations are false, then the people doing this need to be held accountable for their actions. And John Schlosser with the $5 super chat. Thank you for that, John. I appreciate it. Since we were talking about Triple H and the overall theme is 25-year anniversary of Triple H, says, what is your favorite Triple H WrestleMania match? Probably one of the Undertaker matches, either the WrestleMania 17 match or the WrestleMania 27 match, which was by far the best match of that WrestleMania 27, of course. He's had some good ones. He's also had some stinkers. A lot of the matches he lost were stinkers. The Roman Reigns match, the Randy Orton match. Honestly, the Chris Jericho match was nothing special. So yeah, he's had some matches that were not particularly memorable, but he also had some good ones. The match with Stephanie against Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle was pretty pretty good, I thought. And the one with Daniel Bryan, of course, was an all-time classic. So he's had a mixed bag. Some good, some bad. I remember that video package when Shawn was showing all the losses. WrestleMania 20. I guess Triple H lost to Shawn Michaels, right? And Ken Terminated by Google says Triple H's match with Taka Michinoku was underrated. I brought that up on Twitter. That is a real testament to Triple H as a worker. The fact that he could get fans to believe that Taka Michinoku, of all people, could potentially beat him for the WWE title. Check out that match on Raw. It was like April 2000, somewhere around there, during the Attitude Era. Really entertaining match, and the people actually thought Taka could beat him. Like, that was crazy. Ken Terminated by Google with the $2 super chat says Triple H versus Taka Michinoku equals underrated. Yeah, and I think that just goes to show that not all matches need to be squash matches, even if one guy is basically an enhancement talent. You could still have a competitive match with an enhancement guy and maintain your credibility. I know Kenny Omega, that whole topic, Dave Meltzer and Ryan Satin were all arguing about that. And my opinion on it is that people want to see Kenny Omega do competitive matches. Somebody like Lance Archer or Brody Lee, those guys should be doing flat-out squash matches because they're monsters. You're trying to build them as monsters. But Kenny Omega, when people tune into AEW, they want to see Kenny Omega have a fun, competitive match with somebody. They don't want to see Kenny Omega in a 2-minute squash match. So it depends on the wrestler. And I think Kenny, giving that guy a solid match and letting the guy kick out of the V-trigger, I had no problem with it whatsoever. But anyways, we're going off topic on that. That's for Wednesday nights. That's AEW talk. The Owen Hart match at WrestleMania 14 was all right. I didn't think it was anything special. I actually thought it was pretty disappointing. I expected more from those two, but yeah, you can't win them all. Anyways, guys, that was SmackDown. Thank you all so much for tuning into the live stream tonight. I appreciate it very much. Make sure you guys stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Continue supporting the site. Spread the word. Tell a friend about the channel. Check out Jeff Meacham's channel. Check out Greg Cherry's channel. I was going to say level because I'm thinking Super Mario Maker 2. Check out my levels, my ideas on Facebook or Twitter. You could always tweet me asking me for the ID. I'll give it to you if you're interested in playing some levels. That's all I got for tonight. Shout out to Michael Wayne. Have a great night. Have a great night to everybody out there, and I will see you guys next time.